join the class today as he is suffering from some eye problems.
Okay, okay. No issues. Ask him to take rest.
Yes, sir.
Has he
Thank you, ma'am.
consulted the doctor?
Ma'am?
Ask him to consult some doctor, right?
Yes, ma'am. He went to doctor. He has an appointment today. That's why he won't be able
Uh-huh.
to come to class.
Yeah. Otherwise, it may get worse. Okay, no issues. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Good.
Okay, okay. So, Deepam is here, right? My screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. 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 Good. 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 So let's start. So, all right. Okay. So this was what we were studying yesterday. We found out that what was that we have to do some volume correction and some pressure correction in the ideal gas equation for real gases. And why we had to do volume correction? Because since the real gases are made up of rigid spheres, unlike the point masses that were assumed in case of ideal gases. So these rigid spheres, they have some volume, and since the total volume is always the volume in which the gas is freely moving, So, in order to find out the total volume in which the gas is able to move freely, we have to subtract the total volume of the container from the volume of the gas, right? So that volume which was subtracted, that was taken as D for 1 mole, and if suppose there are n moles, so ND. So since the total volume is always the volume in which the gas is able to move freely, so in case of real gases, we will have to subtract the volume of the real gas from the total volume of the container. So from where this term V minus ND, this ND term comes, where V is known as van der Waals constant or volume correction or excluded volume. Like you can have a question that tell which is the volume correction from this. I mean, questions can be like that. Okay. So similarly, pressure correction is required. Why? Because the total pressure that is in the ideal gas equation, it is the pressure that is actually exerted by the gas molecules. So in case of ideal gases, we have made an assumption that there is no intermolecular force of attraction. So in that case, we were only considering the force that was exerted by the moving molecules on the walls of the container. However, in case of real gases, since they are made up of rigid spheres, they have a force of attraction. So these gases, they experience a internal pressure also. So the total pressure in this case will be the external pressure plus the internal pressure which arises due to the force of attraction. So this was given by this correction, a n square by b square, right? So this much we have studied. So always remember that the pressure correction term A is directly proportional to the force of attraction, and the pressure volume correction term B is directly proportional to the size of the molecule. Also, another important thing is that the pressure correction is added and the volume correction is subtracted. Okay, so this much things are clear to you all, I believe. Also, always remember that, always remember that always remember that the pressure correction and the volume correction terms are very small terms, like they have a very small value. Okay, so this was we studied till yesterday. So let's this was remaining. This was remaining. So let's come to. Okay, okay. Now the we have to we are saying that the real gases start behaving as ideal gases at very low pressures and high temperatures. Real gases start behaving as ideal gases at very low pressures and high temperatures. Okay. So we have to consider three cases here. First, to consider at low pressure. First, to consider at low pressure. So low pressure means what? The pressure is going down and the volume is increasing, right? Pressure is going down and the volume is increasing. So what is happening in that case? What is happening in that case? When the volume is increasing, it means what? That the gas molecules are expanding. It means what? That the gas molecules are expanding. So in this case, again, wait. So in this case, So in this case, suppose again that same scenario will come, which was in case of the ideal gas, that the total volume of the container, which the gas is occupying is very large in compared to the volume that is exerted by the gas molecule. So when the pressure is very low, volume is increasing. So in that case, for 1 mole, N will be 1. So in that case, we assume that D is negligible. Why? Because we are saying that the gas is expanding. So again, the total volume which the gas is occupying in the container is very less, is very high in compared to the volume of only the molecule. So in that case, we assume that D is negligible. So if we put D negligible here, so what will we get? D negligible means 0. So that means V minus D will be equated to V. So this equation you see here, this NV terms becomes 0. So P, this becomes here, and this is the equation we get. You just check what I have written is correct or not. So this is the equation which we got, right? Now dividing by RT on all the sides, like on both the sides, what we got? CV by RT, this and this, so this becomes 1. Remember that compressibility factor Z is given by CV by RT. So Z plus this, so Z is equal to 1 minus A by BRT. So at low pressures, Z is less than 1 and it is negative. So in that case, the ideal, the volume of the ideal gas is more than the volume of the real gas. Okay, just it's very simple mathematics. Just see, it's a very simple mathematics. Everyone is understanding? Understanding, people?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
good.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell. Okay. You are telling something or shall I continue? I'm continuing. So similarly, the second case, if I take, the second case is the case of the high pressure. The second case is the case of the high pressure. So in that case, what is happening? P is becoming very high. So if P is becoming very high, so since A is always a very is itself a very small quantity, so already the pressure is very high. The external pressure is very high. So whatever little contribution is made by the internal pressure is taken to be negligible. So in that case, this will be equivalent to P. So what we got? We got this equation: PV minus PV is equal to RT. Okay, for 1 mole. Again, dividing both sides by RT, we again got this formula where we got PV by RT, PV RT and all. So this RT by RT is 1, and so Z is equal to 1 plus PV by RT. So Z is more than 1, that is positive deviation. In this case, the volume of the real gas is more than ideal gases. However, in both of these assumptions where we considered the low pressure and high pressure, we have not assumed any deviation for temperature. We have just assumed that the temperature is moderate. Temperature is moderate means that is basically it is happening at room temperature. Now what will happen? Now what will happen when the temperature is very high? What will happen when the temperature is very high? So when suppose the temperature is very high, then it's high pressure. Then it's high pressure. There were two conditions for pressure: low pressure and high pressure. So that we did in considering that the temperature is moderate. Now the third condition is when the temperature is very high. So when the temperature is very high and the pressure is also very high. So this was for pressure, high pressure. Remember, this was for high pressure. So this we got for high pressure. So when the temperature is very high, this term will become zero. This term will become zero. Something by infinity, suppose. So this term will become zero. So Z is equal to 1. And again, when the temperature is very high, and if you put the pressure low, so again this term will become zero. So this term will become zero. So Z is equal to again 1. So Z is 1 means compressibility 1 is for what? Ideal gases. So at very high temperatures, Z is 1 either whether it is a low pressure or high pressure, and in that case, real gases start behaving as the ideal gas. This you can show mathematically. This was a mathematical proof that how at high temperatures both real gases and ideal gases become same. Clear? Clear, everyone? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now let's go to something else which I want to discuss. So, I will show another presentation. Where is the presentation? Okay. So this is something for critical constant. I don't want to show this page. Let me check which page I want to show. My screen is visible. A Word document is there.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
so okay, sorry. Again, before this, I think we should do this one. This one is would be better. Yeah. Wait. Before going to that, I think I'll show this one. Okay. So this figure you are able to see. This figure you are able to see.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now we will be now I want to discuss little about critical points and critical temperature, pressure, volume, liquefaction, and all those things. Okay. So this is a diagram. Arey bhai, what I want to show, why is it not coming? This is again again this only again. I want to show this. Yeah, good. I wanted to show this. Okay. So now, see, this is this. Look at this figure. This is pressure versus temperature. This is pressure versus temperature. So there are two things that are, like three things that you are seeing. One is this solid phase, other is this liquid phase, and this is the vapor phase. And this T, this shows the triple point. So what is the triple point? Triple point is the point where all the three phases, the liquid, solid, and gas. This one. Triple point is the point where all the three phases, liquid, solid, and gas, they coexist. See, can you see the statement here? Can you see the statement here? So triple point is that point where all the solid, liquid, and gas phases coexist. So I hope everyone knows that that all the materials in the macroscopic scale, that is in the bigger scale, exist in three phases: solid, liquid, or gases. We are not talking about plasma and other semi-liquid and semi-metal phases and all those kinds of phases. This broadly on the macroscopic properties. In the next semester, you will understand the difference between macroscopic and microscopic. So heat is basically a macroscopic property. So we all know that all the materials exist in three phases: solid, liquid, and vapor. So triple point is the point. Triple point is the point. You see this statement. You see this statement I am highlighting. Can you see? Can you see? So triple point is the point where all the three phases coexist. Triple point is the point where all the three phases coexist. However, critical point is a point. You see, it's not here in solid side. You see, it's not here in solid side. It's only in the liquid and vapor side. So critical point is the point where the two phases, liquid and vapor, where two phases, liquid and vapor, coexist. Where two phases, liquid and vapor, coexist. So that is known as critical point. That is known as critical point. Understood? So why is the critical point important? So the condensation of a gas or liquefaction of a gas, the condensation of a gas or liquefaction of gas will never occur no matter how much pressure you apply for a given temperature. No matter how much pressure you apply.
Your voice is not clear.
Hello? Is this not clear with everyone?
It's too much. Not clear, ma'am. Voice is cracking.
Yes, ma'am. It's a bit not clear.
Okay, so what shall I do? Wait. Actually, I think I am shouting a little less. Maybe that's the reason. Okay, so now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
Yeah,
You
ma'am.
can listen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so the critical point, this now. So the critical point is the point where both the liquid and gas phases coexist. Where both the liquid and gas phases coexist. In fact, it is that point I am giving you theoretically. I am explaining you. In fact, it is that point where both the liquid and vapor phases become interchangeable. Like it is not possible to differentiate between the two. Either it is a very condensed vapor, or it is a very very compressed vapor, or a very expanded liquid. So it becomes very much interchangeable as the critical point. So I hope till now you are clear that when you increase the pressure, yesterday I was talking that when you increase the pressure, the atmospheric pressure, the intermolecular force of attraction, that is the constant A. That is the constant A, it will increase. That is the constant A, it will increase. And so more there will be A, that will be more easier for that gas to liquefy. Obviously, gases can only liquefy, liquids cannot liquefy, and solids melt. Solids also don't liquefy. So, if anyone has this question that why only gases or vapors liquefy, because gases can change to liquids. Liquids are itself liquid. Liquids freeze to solid, and solids melt to liquid. Okay, so these are all things clear. So, critical point is that point which tells us that at a particular temperature, which is known as the critical temperature, no matter how much you increase the pressure after that, the gas won't condense. The gas won't condense, and the material or the liquid or the vapor above critical point is known as supercritical liquid. The liquid above critical point is known as supercritical liquid. Okay, clear this much? Now let's understand the definition of the critical temperature is not here. Okay. Okay, let's first understand this behavior. Then we'll go to the next document. So this is the why this critical point and triple points are important. So at the critical point, as I was saying, the liquid is very much identical to the vapor phase. That means the vapor and the liquid phases are interchangeable. Liquid and the vapor phases are interchangeable, right? So the particular values of the critical, also we know that the values of critical temperature and pressure varies from substance to substance. However, how these materials, how all the materials behave in the vicinity of the critical point, near the critical point, is similar. Like if one particular material, if suppose the specific heat constant is increasing near the critical point, so it does not mean that it will increase only for that material. All other materials also will see an increase in their specific heat constant near their critical point. So this is known as law of corresponding state. This is known as law of corresponding state. See what is written, that while the particular values of the critical temperature and pressure may vary from substance to substance, the nature of behavior in the vicinity of the critical point is similar for all compounds, and this is known as law of corresponding state. This is known as law of corresponding state. Now, this approach directed us towards another concept, that was the concept of reduced variables. So what are reduced variables? Reduced variables are defined by dividing the actual variable by its associated critical constant. That means, how to find the reduced temperature for a particular vapor? Tr, suppose the reduced temperature for hydrogen is Tr. So how to find it? That will be obtained by the temperature of hydrogen divided by the critical temperature. The temperature at which the hydrogen gas is at that moment divided by its critical temperature. Similarly, what will be the reduced pressure? It will be the pressure of the gas divided by its critical temperature. Okay. So due to this, for all the substances, the critical point occurs at a value of Pr and Pr equal to unity. Due to this concept, the critical point occurs at a value of Pr and Pr equal to unity. So what I was saying, that the materials behave differently near their critical point. Although the values of critical constants of temperature, pressure, and temperature, pressure, and volume may be different for different substances, but how they behave at the critical point is same. And so this led us to the law of corresponding variables, which stated that if the phase diagram is plotted using reduced variables instead of actual variables, if the phase diagram, what was the phase diagram? The PT curve between the solid, liquid, and gas. This is the phase diagram. So the law of corresponding states tells us that if the phase diagram was plotted using the reduced variables instead of the actual variables, then the behavior of all the substances will be more or less same. Now, how to find the reduced variables? Reduced variables are obtained by dividing the actual variable with its constant counterpart. Like the reduced temperature will be obtained by temperature divided by the constant temperature. Reduced pressure will be obtained by pressure divided by reduced pressure, constant pressure, and reduced volume will be obtained by volume divided by constant volume. So, and what it was found out that when the phase diagram using this PR and PR was plotted, when the phase diagram between this PR and PR was plotted and not between P and P, so the critical point for all the materials offered almost near the unity, offered almost near the unity. Clear? So what was the use of this approach? You can be asked that why all this fuss once you have got the critical point, critical temperature, what was all this fuss? So you can say that this approach has been used to develop lot of equations and predict a number of phases, properties of the liquid phases such as vapor pressures, saturated pressures, compressed liquid densities, heat capacities, latent heat vaporization, etc., etc., etc. Also, they say that the law of corresponding state. What was the law of corresponding state? That if the plot is of the phases is obtained between the reduced variables, all the substances behave more or less same. So thus this corresponding state approach works remarkably well for the temperatures that lie between the normal boiling point and critical point, but they tend to break near and below the triple point. So at this temperature, the liquid is influenced more by the behavior of solids, which cannot be correlated by corresponding state method. So what happens actually? So what are they saying? That this approach of corresponding state works very well between temperatures. We are considering T versus T, right? So they are saying that this approach of corresponding state works very well between normal boiling point and the critical point. Like the materials follow this approach, follow these laws. However, when the temperature falls to the triple point, this law breaks, and here the liquid has more similarities with that of solid. Here the liquid has more similarity with that of solid, so this cannot be fulfilled by corresponding state, right? This cannot be fulfilled by corresponding state. So this is written that at critical, what are the differences that happen at critical point and the triple point. So critical point, you understood, critical point is that point where the critical point is that point where the liquid vapor phases coexist in the pressure temperature curve. Right? So and it also, what is the significance? That above the higher temperatures than the critical temperature, a gas cannot be liquefied, no matter how much be the pressure. Also, if the temperature is lower than the critical point, then also the gas cannot be liquefied. Then second thing is that even if your temperature is at the critical point, but your pressure is not sufficient enough, which is known as critical pressure, your gas won't be liquefied, right? And triple point is that point where all these three phases coexist. The liquid above the critical point or the material above the critical point is known as supercritical fluid. Here both the liquid and vapor phases coexist in the sense that you cannot distinguish that whether it is a liquid or whether it is a vapor. Then what was the next thing which we studied? That near the critical point, the liquids behave differently, although the materials, the substances behave differently near the critical point, but how they behave, the nature of their behavior is almost similar. So this led to the law of corresponding states. So what was the law of corresponding states? The law of corresponding states was that if you plot this P and T curve, in terms of reduced variables and not actual variables, then the behavior of substance is similar to is similar for all the materials near the critical point. Now, what is reduced variable? Reduced variable is the variable that is obtained by dividing the actual variable with the critical constant counterpart. Like reduced temperature will be P by Tc, reduced pressure will be P by Pc, and reduced volume will be V by Vc. So if now the phase diagram of PV diagram is plotted with the critical pressure, with the reduced pressure and reduced temperature, we will find that all the substances have nearly a similar behavior near the critical point, and their critical point is almost equal to unity. So this law of corresponding states using the reduced variable is followed very well by the liquids or by the substances between the normal boiling point to the critical point. However, below the boiling point, near the triple point, below the boiling point, near the triple point, this law breaks because here the liquid starts behaving as a solid. Clear this much? Clear this much? And now what was the use of this law of corresponding state? This law of corresponding state is used to find and correlate and predict various other properties of the material, right? So now I'm going to this one, I think. This one. Wait. Wait. So now you can see another screen. Right? Now you can see another screen.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not able to hear anybody. My voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now these are the last few topics of this. So let's. Okay. So where I was? I was not showing this one. What I was saying. Yeah. So now we have to find the critical constant. So what are the critical constants? We are talking so much about critical constants. So now again there is a question that why liquefaction of gases is necessary? Why so much fuss about liquefying a gas? Why not leaving it as it is? So it is very important because it is used for the transportation of gases. The gases which they are transported from one place to another. You would have heard that liquid nitrogen, liquid hydrogen, all these. No, not liquid hydrogen. It's not possible to liquefy hydrogen. Why is it not possible to liquefy hydrogen? I am saying that it's not possible to liquefy hydrogen. Why? Who will tell? Tell someone. Try at least. Yesterday only I was discussing that hydrogen and helium cannot be liquefied. No answer. Okay. So hydrogen and helium are very, very light molecules. They are very, very light molecules. So in them that rigid sphere concept does not entirely hold true. So does not entirely hold true. That means they don't have a force of attraction. Their A is 0. They don't have a force of attraction. Their A is 0. So if their A is 0, they don't have a force of attraction. That means they are more or less equivalent to ideal gases. And since if there is no force of attraction, so it is not possible for them to their pressure to be decreased. Okay. So due to that, it is not possible to liquefy hydrogen and helium very easily. Okay, because they are very light and their A is very small. Okay. So now let's define what are the critical constants. So this we have been talking till now that real gas can be converted to ideal gas at low pressures and high temperatures. On the contrary, remember this, on the contrary, a gas can be liquefied A gas can be liquefied or cooled. A gas can be liquefied or cooled by lowering the temperature and increasing the pressure. By lowering the temperature and increasing the pressure. So, understood? A gas can be liquefied by lowering the temperature and increasing the pressure. So, most of the real gases can be liquefied just at the natural pressure itself by suitably lowering the temperature, because increasing the pressure, decreasing the pressure requires a lot of energy. Why? We will discuss it when we study thermodynamics. So increasing a pressure or decreasing a pressure requires a lot of energy. Compared to that, decreasing the temperature or increasing the temperature is a little easier. So most of the real gases can be liquefied at the natural pressure itself just by lowering the temperature. But the gases cannot be liquefied. At the natural pressure unless and until their temperature falls below a certain value. Why we are saying falling of temperature? Because I said that the gas can be liquefied at high pressure and low temperature. So keeping the pressure natural, how can the gas be liquefied? If we reduce the temperature. However, the gas cannot be liquefied. So if you start reducing the temperature, it does not mean that okay, now your gas is at 100 degrees centigrade or at 100 Kelvin to 300 Kelvin, and you suddenly reduce it to 200 Kelvin and it will liquefy. No, it will be only liquefied if the temperature falls below its critical temperature. If the temperature falls below the critical temperature, and no matter even if suppose you have reduced the temperature but it does not fall below the critical temperature, it does not reach the critical temperature. So no matter however high pressure also you apply, the gas won't be liquefied. So the temperature at which the gas can be liquefied is known as the critical temperature, or the critical temperature is the maximum temperature at which a gas can be liquefied and the temperature above which a liquid cannot exist. Remember this. The critical temperature is the maximum temperature at which a gas can be liquefied and the temperature above which a liquid cannot exist. What exists above the critical temperature? Supercritical liquid. Liquid does not exist. A supercritical liquid. So similarly, critical pressure is the maximum pressure. Critical pressure is the maximum pressure that is required to cause liquefaction at the critical temperature. That means critical pressure is the pressure that is necessary to be maintained at the critical temperature so that the gas can be liquefied. Yes, and similarly, critical volume is the volume that is occupied by 1 mole of a gas molecule at critical temperature and critical pressure. So you understood what is critical temperature? It is the temperature that is required, maximum temperature that is required for a gas to be liquefied and above which the liquid cannot exist. Why liquid cannot exist? Because there above the critical temperature we get the supercritical phase, right? Critical pressure is the maximum pressure that is required for liquefaction at critical temperature, and critical volume is the volume that is occupied by 1 mole of a gas molecule at critical temperature and critical pressure. At critical temperature and critical pressure. So do you want, there are few more topics I have to explain to you, this graph and then continuity of state, 2 to 3 lines, and then significance is not here. Significance is another document. So another 15 to 20 minutes are required in this topic. Do you want me to continue? 10 to 15 minutes I want. So you want me to continue? Students? Do you want me to complete this? Hello? Yeah, the present.
Next day.
Next day. Okay,
Yes,
so then okay, tomorrow I will do. So tomorrow we have, after this we have heat conduction of heat also remaining. So that also we have 4 days after this. So thermal conduction, And plus, remember, in our midterm, the syllabus was only till thermal conductivity, transport phenomena of thermal conductivity. There was diffusion, that was the diffusion, and the Einstein's equation of mean displacement was not included in midterm. So that will be included in your end term. So although we have done that in class, but if we get time, I will just give a small revision to it also. So we have 4 days. In 4 days, we have to complete these topics. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
what to ma'am? Ma'am, can repeat the last lines?
Last line of what?
Means up to transport phenomenon and some topic. What to Newton's? Ma'am, what to say?
Newton's, no, Einstein.
Oh, sir, I could not hear my voice. Your voice.
No, not Newton, it's Einstein. There was the Einstein formula for mean square displacement that we have found out just before our midterm exam. After that, midterm exam started. So anyways, our midterm syllabus was this thermal conductivity transport phenomenon, right? So there is diffusion also, and that Einstein's relation also. So we have to complete this real gases, and then this thermal conductivity, and that. So hopefully we are able to revise. Otherwise, let's see what to do. So, and if you have any, I don't think you have any problem in radiation, and as well as real gases, what we have studied till now. So if you have any problems also, you can tell me. I mean, we can have a discussion, but let's first finish, then we can have again a discussion. But now I think everything is very clear. Okay, let's meet tomorrow then.